Second Cup, brought to you by the Nickel Plate. Sit, sip, savor, and shop.
Hi, everyone. Good morning to you. It's 8 o'clock on the start of a Thursday. Glad you're with us for Second Cup. Gosh, when we're talking about news today and what's going on, the only thing that you really can think of is what's going on out in California.
That video is just unbelievable.
This is now an apocalypse for so many people when you see the cars on the streets.
It literally looks like a movie.
Right.
And you see like those embers coming across the streets and stuff.
The whole trees on fire, the burning buildings. And now this fire has spread to 2 more sites, creating 5 fires total overnight.
Yeah.
And we're in a situation now where people who are just run-of-the-mill ordinary folks
are losing everything.
And it's
because
just
we
so
were saying
sad.
before, like a lot of the times we see like in the Hollywood Hills or in the California Hills, you see these like, you know, beautiful mansions and that's what's on fire. And like, listen, not to like discount that is horrible for people too. But, you know, you see these $1 million mansions and now it's like not just that, it's also everyday people. Like, look at that video. It's so crazy.
Okay, so this is live from the Palisades fire, and this is just one of the 5 fires that are burning. This is one of those neighborhoods that we were seeing throughout the last couple of days that have really taken a hit here, significantly burning. 7,500 firefighters have been deployed to help fight this fire, and the other 4 that are burning. And still this morning, now more than 24 hours after these fires started, and still unclear how the fire started.
Crystal, you said you have family there. Let us know if they might want to talk to us. Like, we're trying to talk to people who are, you know, Western New Yorkers or have ties and stuff. Drop either one of us a line.
Well, my point was that these are 0% contained. There is zero containment of any of these fires.
So they're hoping that pretty soon these winds will start to die down and then they'll be able to really start attacking it. But like, what can you do when winds are blowing at like 100 miles an hour?
Right.
You can't.
Anita says fires are devastating no matter what the size of your home or bank account. You know, and Crystal, I wonder, you know, have you spoken with those family members? What are they saying? What are the stories? Mark says, been watching all day and this morning. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so scary.
I mean, when you consider that everything can be gone in a matter of seconds, and, you know, we're talking 40 square miles of land. That is 40 times the size of Kenmore. Kenmore is a single square mile village.
They were also saying it's like the equivalent of the size of San Francisco. Like, that's crazy.
Right. So overnight, one of those fires that broke out, similar, you know, to this one, is the Runyon Canyon fire. And that is, for those of you who are unfamiliar with LA, and frankly, I was unfamiliar with it until this summer when I was there to visit for a conference and, you know, spent some time with friends out there. The Runyon Canyon area is this beautiful scenic hike. And you drive up, there's like a little parking lot nearby with homes, and it's on one of the hills.
Yeah.
And you drive like a distance from downtown LA, but like nearby West Hollywood. You drive up these tiny, narrow, winding roads, park your car and walk through this beautiful, it's desert really. I mean, but it's a beautiful hike, and you get these beautiful picturesque views of the mountains and the hills, and you can overlook here. Exactly.
So look at, when you think about that too, like look at all those houses that are in the background.
Right. So this is when I was with my friend James and his friend Jake. James, one of my best friends for the last 20 years. He took me up on this hike and it was amazing. It was a great hike. But
so now, like from what you've seen, do you think that most of the stuff that's behind you there?
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
That's so
can you
sad.
imagine? Look at the vegetation there. Look, and what they were saying last night is that there has been 1/10 of an inch of rain since May.
Since May.
Compare that to the precipitation we get here.
We get like inches sometimes,
Exactly.
you know?
And so when you are putting that into perspective, it's a drought condition factored in with these winds, and it's a terrible situation all around.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Diane says her niece lives in California. Checked in on her yesterday. She says the fires are near, but she's okay.
Okay, so Crystal weighing back in, saying my aunt checked in with her family. She's safe, but have not heard from anyone else. Looks like a volcano in Los Angeles. What do you even take out of your home? That's a great question.
I know. We have like a little fireproof box too.
Sure.
I can't imagine. Like, I mean, it's not that great of a fireproof box. You know what I mean? I'm like,
it's crazy.
Of like little things you don't want to lose. Like, you know.
Sherry wondering if we heard from Adam Campos. We haven't, to be honest with you, but he's in San Diego, so he's much further south.
Yeah.
Than they are in LA.
He sometimes chimes in.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll join us by chance today and we can talk to him.
Tracy says, I was watching live coverage last night and the reporters said they could feel the scorching heat on their back and embers were flying. Very scary. And I know they need to report the news, but I can't help but worry about their safety. I agree.
I know. They're very close.
When you see Matt Gutman walking around like that and Kena Whitworth, who was out there and she was talking about how it goes from day to night.
Yeah.
That's something that, I'll never forget. Like you see how clear it is. And then the smoke just kind of blackens everything.
Do you know what else I think about too? It's not just like that and the heat. It's what you're breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when you think about, I mean, we talk about that with our firefighters all the time.
Yeah, sure.
And firefighters in cities, like, what are you breathing when you go into these buildings and, you're fighting these fires? Like you see them wearing masks, but like, is that enough?
Right. The N95s. No water in a lot of places, right? And you're seeing these people fighting these fires in their backyard with garden hoses. And that's like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Right.
I hate to use that analogy, but like it's not going to help. And like it's a mental game at that point, right? You're trying to do something to save your property.
I know. It's so scary.
Marguerite says firefighters must be exhausted. John, is that a live picture?
Yeah, they were working like, some of them were working like 48-hour shifts. Can you imagine?
Jeez.
I mean,
Anita wondering, is Western New York sending any firefighters to assist? I have not heard any of that.
I haven't heard that either.
But I know, like,
I also do, and like, believe me, my husband would correct me if I was wrong, if he was here joining us right now. I think it's very different firefighting than what they do here.
I agree.
And I think that, like, unless you're properly trained for it, like, maybe you can help in some capacity, but I think unless you're properly trained for this stuff, I don't know how much of a help you know what I mean? Because it is like so different.
Well, and consider how they're fighting these fires too, from the air, so they're dropping water, they're doing all they can to fight it from the ground. So, I mean, can we listen to what that reporter is saying? I wonder if we can hear.
11 Palisades, 27 and 87.
Okay, she's just wrapping up a live shot there.
You might be asking or something.
Right.
Thank you.
Then she's going to throw her mic down and be like, F this, get me out of here.
No, she's gonna get away from
Gosh, that is scary. I mean, when you see somebody's home burning, your heart breaks, right?
Yeah. Sarah's also saying, where do these firefighters even go to rest when they're done with this? Right.
Yeah.
Like, do you truck yourself out? Like, how? And what did I say this morning? 1.5 million people have no power?
Right.
That's insane. That's so many people.
Mom was right, no lights. They always say move to a warmer place. I will take snow any day. I pray for the people and the first responders. What will the long-term effect from the smoke be? What's the long-term effect from the fires, right? Like the rebuilding process. Who's going to help rebuild here? And insurance. Insurance is so hard to come by out in California, especially in LA.
Oh, did you see that chunk of the building just fell?
No, I didn't see.
It was right over here in this area.
Firefighting has so many capacities other than hosing a fire. Right, exactly. Tracy, though, heard Canadian planes were sent for water drops, probably because they were used to handling those wildfires too. Mark is an area of Pasadena in what's called Christmas Tree Lane. The trees have been there since 1890. Wow. So we're going to keep an eye on that. There are ways to help these people. And I think that, as Western New Yorkers, we're always looking for ways to help.
We have a link on our website with legitimate ways to help. Because you always worry when stuff like this happens.
Right.
Like the Mulligan's fire again. When we were telling you the other day that there was a fake GoFundMe or a real, but fraud GoFundMe, you know?
Lauren says, my cousin who lives in California is okay. Thank God. Jason says, I'm sure the Red Cross will step in and help. Yeah, absolutely.
I expect that we'll see, you know, disaster declarations, federal dollars, like all this stuff is going to happen. But like right now, they're just trying to get it out.
Well, and consider also like the unique timing of all of this.
As we transition power.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you've seen President Biden step up. He canceled his trip to Italy. He's stepping up now and helping the folks, and focusing his attention on LA. But, this comes at a really unique time in that 11 days, we're going to see a complete different administration.
Yeah. Hopefully, at least we can get some of the stuff in motion now.
Yeah. No
so
doubt.
That
they can just pick up the ball and start running with
can
it.
Start to get there too.
You want to talk about dating apps or you want to talk about egg prices?
Let's do dating apps.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about egg prices after. But okay, really quick. Cuppies. You online dated for a hot second, right?
I mean, I use Tinder and some other
I never did
dating
it.
apps.
I never did it. But I was just at the cusp of not really doing it and kind of not really into it. But I get it that now if you're younger, that's a real way that people meet each other.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's no longer are people just going to the bar and saying, "Hey, how are you? My name is Ed." It's kind of
right.
The first introduction.
Yeah, because if someone comes up to you at the bar, you're like, "Okay, weirdo."
Right, exactly. What a creep.
I'm trying to be here with my friends.
The first introduction really comes online, right? Behind a keyboard.
Who has online dated, Cuppies? Tell us, if you don't mind.
Tell us your experience, too.
Here's the difference between Katie and Ed. I'm tell us if you don't mind. Ed's tell me everything that happened. I want to know.
And do it in a public forum.
Their red flags, post their pictures.
Well, speaking of red flags, now Tinder is basically doing the work for you. They are telling you, by New York state law, if this person that you're talking to has been kicked off the app before.
Right, if they were banned before for something. Okay, now, of course, Ed hears this, and he's like, oh my God, what? What kind did they do? What was the drama? And I'm like, no, it's don't get me wrong, it's drama. But it's people who are scamming people, a lot of this.
Right.
Much of this is to try to protect people who have lost money or from losing money again.
Well, and let's face it, so many elderly people, and I don't want to call them elderly, but perhaps older, who are widows, widowers, single moms for a while, single dads for a while, people who are empty nesters,
See people get scammed.
Exactly. And, you think you're dating this Casanova.
Yeah, you see younger people get I guess catfished.
Yeah.
But
you're dating this 5,000 pound uggo who's sitting in a basement, eating fried chicken with grease all over his stomach. You know what I mean? And you're like, what am I doing here? And how did you steal my money?
That's me these days. That's how I feel. But that being said, so the idea is to try to keep people aware, because I really do think let's say I'm going to take your example of someone who's a widow.
Yeah.
Or a widower. You're getting back out there. People convince you to get on one of these apps. Maybe you've not done it before. You're an easy target for some of these people. So maybe this is a great way to be hey, listen, Ed Dranch might not really be Ed Dranch has been kicked off this platform before.
Right.
Here's the reason why. And I like the idea of giving that extra layer.
This is just to protect you, to keep money in your wallet. And at the end of the day, if you are, people are using all different kinds of scams to collect in a fraudulent way, whether it's gift cards, it was iTunes gift cards for a long time.
I know.
Now they're, warnings on gift card stands.
But you know what? A lot of people develop emotional connections from people that they're just talking to. You kind of get into the person, you're just talking to them. And so if you haven't met them and then you kind of develop this connection with the person. And then I've always heard those stories where they're I need some money for X, Y, and Z, or I'm having some financial. And the
can
next
you help
thing,
me pay my bill?
The next thing you know, people are sending money.
They see you as an easy mark.
I need to see that.
Kim says, what happened to the old-fashioned way of meeting someone? Well, it doesn't exist anymore.
I know.
You have this this fallacy, this fantasy of walking into the grocery store, meeting your partner, being
you're both reached for the same apple.
Exactly.
And you're oh.
Like the plot to a Hallmark movie.
Hi.
You dropped that?
Oh, hello.
Oh, here.
Hi.
Oh my God, you're so handsome. You hear the
I used to
playing.
hear that you would meet people at the grocery store. So when I was still single, I would try to look nice when I went to the grocery
store.
Oh,
stop it.
No, I'm dead serious. These days, no. But
Did you really?
Yeah, because I heard you could meet people at the grocery store. It was a
And
good
they're like, oh
place.
my God, Katie Morse is so beautiful.
So I'd be like wandering the aisles, like, and then like I will never forget, like, I came from work the one day and I like would always make sure my makeup looked nice. I'm like, you never know, maybe I'll meet this guy at a grocery store. I don't know who, I'm gonna marry someday. This is obviously a while ago. And then I had this one man say to me one day, he was older, much older than me, like elderly. And he was like, honey, you just look so lovely. This and this. And I was like, well, I don't care if I meet somebody. That just made my day.
Ah,
It's
that's
just
sweet.
so cute.
I will say that, like, sometimes though, when I go to the grocery store and I see somebody who's wearing like something unique or like a beautiful bright color, I'm the first person to be like, love your hat.
Yeah.
Or what a great coat, and I love doing that to people.
Right. Because a lot of us now go frumpy to the grocery store,
Thank
like
you.
sweatpants, you're coming from the gym, you're doing whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
Lauren says, I bet my hubby at work, thank God, because I'd probably still be single. People are weirdos. She says, though my mom, on the other hand, says blind dates and being set up is the way to go. That's how my mom and dad met.
Shut up. They met on a blind date.
Yeah.
I was always so bad on blind dates. It was not my thing.
My
I was
mom
very
must have been
uncomfortable.
blind. She wasn't seeing. No, I'm
Stop
just
it.
kidding.
Did you blind date ever? I feel like. Okay, John. John's taking some liberties today.
No, I don't think I ever went on a blind date.
I've been on a couple, and like I was just terrible. Like it just wasn't my thing because I felt like I really need to know somebody before I would go out with them. It was too hard for me.
Yeah, I understand that. I think that Danielle says I look homeless when I go to the grocery store.
Thank you. Correct.
That makes me a little nervous, blind dating, because I think that in the back of your mind, you're like, is this person a psycho or am I going to marry them?
And that was my problem.
Right. I'm skeptical of everyone. I'm skeptical
Like
of
they're
everything.
like, oh, what do you do for work? And I'm sitting there like,
I actually have already investigated you.
am I gonna do the end of this? Like I'm like really nervous. I'm
Right.
like, how am I getting back to my
Are you
car?
going to kill me or am I going to go home?
Like I've just watched too much.
Dateline. Julie says, I've given the number for Salvation Army before. They have housing and work plus 3 meals.
Julie.
Barbara says, I signed up back in the 90s for about a week. All the guys they matched me with, I had already dated. No thanks. Like, that's Buffalo in a nutshell, right?
Kim, I blind dated once. Oh my God, once and done.
Jeanette says, my parents were set up by their sisters, happily married 35 years.
Cool.
That's cute. Lauren says, I always make it a point to compliment at least one person while I'm out of the house. That's nice of you. Then she's talking crap about you behind your back. Peter says, I wouldn't mind being set up on a blind date, especially if being set up by a trustworthy person.
Oh, Anita says speed dating's the way to go. 6 minutes. If you ever want to talk to him again.
Okay, so two of my friends who are both catches
Okay.
have
Girls?
Yes, have done speed dating. I don't know, like if they're calling workshops or what would you call them? Like events?
Events, yeah.
Okay, they've done them here in Buffalo and they haven't found their match, but I'm sure that if the right opportunity presented them, it would be a great first meeting. Do you know what I mean? Like having that first initial conversation where the ice is already broken, then you kind of go out and have a date.
Yeah. Then plus then you've already seen the person face to face.
Right, exactly. I require a HIPAA and credit report before
Like,
dating.
you know how you see on movies where people will be like set up on a blind date and they go up to a bar and they're like, Ed, are you Ed?
Right.
Hey, are you Ed? I could never do that.
With the rose, I'll have a rose in my teeth. Lauren says, no, I'm not Edward. I'm dating them. I'm complimenting them. Yes. Yes, Lauren. So funny.
Well, anyway, so New York State is trying to protect people from these fake profilers, these online daters who might be looking to try to scam you.
Those catfishers.
Yeah.
Okay. As you're going out and about today, maybe doing some grocery shopping. I know I got to get to Wegmans today. Get some bananas.
Have you noticed the price of eggs?
I have noticed the price of eggs is sky high. And normally what I do is get the 18 pack of eggs. And sometimes it's like 2 for a great price.
You get
It's
36
like
eggs. Yeah.
2 for 12 right now. That's
I know.
insane.
Let me look it up real quick. We're doing the in-store, the Wegmans, because that's technically, it's really close to you and I. That's where we go a lot, right? Okay, so your 18 pack of eggs is $6.43 right now.
Right.
Buy 2 for 12.
That's a lot of money.
If you're getting, now, what do we remember them being?
$2.
They were 2 for $8 a couple weeks ago because I
Mhm.
bought them 2 for $8. They've definitely been 2 for $6 before, right? 2 for $5, 2 for $6. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we
Yes, definitely.
In the past, like, okay, so a dozen eggs right now, if you just got regular eggs at Wegs, $4.29 right now. Now you can get a little bit cheaper at Aldi, Walmart, and Target. We were like price tracking everything. Okay, but so here's the prices from yesterday, which are probably still the same today. Look how much they've gone up. Like, that's a lot for a dozen
That is
eggs.
a lot of money. And then, you can flash back to June, which is the last time you were doing some price tracking.
Yeah, John, do you have the June? Yeah. So, okay, this is like, let's say 6 months ago, okay? Look at what the prices I found then.
I know. Diane says BJ's 218 packs are $9.50. Okay, so that's even cheaper than the 2 for $12.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, they used to be $1.99, Danielle says at Wegmans.
So it really puts in perspective when you look at those June numbers and then you think about now.
Kim says, I remember eggs being a dozen for 99
For
cents.
sure.
$5 from a local farmer is what your mom says. $5 a dozen.
Yeah.
Now, is that good or bad? $5 a dozen. I mean, it's fresh. You know exactly where they're coming
Yeah,
from.
well,
You're
they're the
supporting a
local.
farmer.
Yeah, yeah. They're those farm fresh eggs where you open them and they're all different shades of brown or maybe.
But they're
some green.
delicious.
Yeah. Oh, my mom loves those. Yeah.
Supply and demand. Nancy says Jason doesn't eat eggs, so don't have to worry about buying them.
A lot of it is bird flu right now because the production is down. That means prices go up. Apparently, some places across the country they're having a hard time even like finding eggs in stores. I have not had that problem here.
No, and you know what? I kind of get confused. Like I go to Wegmans, obviously for my grocery shopping because it's close by, but sometimes they have it like if you're familiar with the Wegmans on Amherst Street, and if you ever see me around, please say hi because I'm always there. I feel like they take all of my money, and so we need the food to eat. Needless to say, you walk through like the deli section to get to like that little frozen area, refrigerator area where the yogurt and the Jell-O is. And then you walk out, and on that end cap, on that same area, like on the other side of the cheese, there's the eggs that are in that end section. Do you know what I'm talking about?
On where the Pillsbury crescent rolls are,
Correct.
and then they're on the edge.
Yes, you're walking by, and on the left, as you're trying to merge back in with the flow of traffic, are the eggs only there?
No.
Okay. Where else are they?
Oh my God.
Oh, they're in the other freezer
down
section.
towards the milk.
Yeah, okay.
Remember, there's all the milk and everything, and then
Right.
there's like multiple cases of eggs there. Like, I don't know why you're thinking about just that one section.
Well, because it's so convenient.
I feel like that section changes out a lot.
It
Like I feel
does.
like in the past I've seen like
And then I got to go hunting for the eggs.
right, so they're always a little further up. I'll tell you what, that Wegmans moved the shredded cheese on me probably about
Oh
a
my
year ago now.
gosh.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Because we buy shredded cheese all the time. We eat it, and the dog loves it. So I could not find the shredded cheese to save my life. And this was easily a year ago. And then I had to ask somebody, and I'm like, and it was way further down. They had another like little section down there. Now it's where it is normally. I'm used to it. But the guy was just like, you have no idea how many people I've directed to the
I'm
cheese
sure.
this week.
And now things are under
Isn't it
construction
crazy?
there.
Yes. Isn't it
The
crazy
flower
when they move
market.
things
Yes,
around?
I can't say. Actually, I saw Rocco Termini in Wegmans a couple of weeks ago. It was right after I had my surgery, and I looked like a schlub. I looked disgusting.
Oh, like me when I go to Wegmans.
Well, I mean, here's Rocco. He's tan, bright-eyed, and dressed in his bright neon polo. And I'm like, hey, Rocco, hey, what's going on? He's like, Ed, what's going on? Great to see you. And I'm like, trying to like walk around like this. But he's like, man, can't find anything these days.
Well, right, because they really are moving. It's so tricky when they move around your grocery store.
Right.
Barbas, do you ever get road rage grocery shopping? Are you talking about with the carts?
Where you're like, oops, excuse me. People are not nice to me
Sunday
sometimes.
before the Bills game the other day, and it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yes.
The traffic is crazy.
The parking lot is nuts.
I actually mean the like cart traffic. It's crazy. And I'm the kind of person who like, if the aisle is full of 50 carts, I will park my cart in a place that I hope is convenient.
Yeah.
And then it
Out
always
of the
ends up
way.
being a terrible place to park.
Sure.
But then I'll just run down the aisle and you're trying to navigate. It's
Do you know what I do? I've been going grocery shopping with my sister lately, and that's always a joy because she hates the way I grocery shop. Because I'm all like, I'll forget something that I need on the other side of the store, and then we have to run back, and she hates that. Megan says, keep right. But my point is that she's been wheeling the wagon lately, and I've just been...
She's been wheeling the wagon.
Yeah, and I've just been throwing stuff in. So it's been great for me.
Well, you guys don't take your same cart or a different cart each?
No, we just kind of share the cart.
Then you have to...
She puts her stuff in the front, I put my stuff in the back.
Oh my gosh, I could never do that. I miss the scan app when I could have my little bags in my cart, scan the stuff and put it in. Wegmans is testing a new cart at some stores, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got to look into it. I kept meaning to do it, and I think it's one where like they're able to kind of like do a similar thing where they're scanning stuff. I got to look at what it is.
Kim says, we just started going to Wegmans. My husband loves it. Not me. Too many people. I'm so worried of running someone over. I do love the food, though. Everything is so fresh. Barb is with my sister, though. She would hate that, too.
Bouncing all over the place.
Whoops. Just how my mind works.
Yeah. You ready, Freddie?
Yeah, let's go. Have a great day, everyone.